Good morning, everyone. I'd love to welcome you all to my new Patreon page where we are going to cover a whole bunch of electronic music production tutorials. We're going to get stuck straight into this one and begin looking at designing a kick drum using Kick 2. Upon first opening this UI, we can see a whole bunch of different tabs. We've got a pitch envelope, an amp envelope, and 3 click sections where you can add hi-hats or different noises to create the transient of your kick drum. We're not going to worry about these ones for the moment. We're just going to focus on the first 2. And I wanted to ask you, the first question we need answering is, what is a kick drum? And essentially, it is a sine wave on a fundamental level. We've just added a pitch envelope and changed the length of it. So essentially, I have just removed most of the parameters on Kick 2 at the moment. The only thing that we have available is a pitch envelope going from a very high pitch to a very low pitch. And I've put this length all the way to the end. And this should sound like a laser beam. So let's press play and listen. So I press play. I didn't realize this was in a loop, but on the final one, you could hear it sweep all the way down to those low notes. And essentially that's what this sound is doing. It's we're deciding on a pitch and deciding on an ending pitch over an amount of time. So for our kick drums, we don't want it to be that long. How long do we want our kick drums to be? That generally ranges from a 16th note to about a quarter note. In my productions, I tend to pick around an 1/8 note because if I have an offbeat bass rhythm, I want the kick to be finished for that bass to be ready and available. So if we want to find out how long that actually is, we can go onto our grid. We can right click our 1/8 note. We can highlight one of these sections here. And on the bottom left, it will tell us in milliseconds how long that actually is. So 1/8 note in this project is 231 milliseconds. So we're going to bring our, here we are. We're already on 231 now, which is fantastic. So this is an 1/8 note within the project. We're going to change the pitches of this a little bit more. I think C10 is a bit too high for me. I'm going to pick around C8 and let's go down to a low D, 37 hertz, and have a listen to this. Cool. It's still quite donkey. It sounds like a thick, low laser beam, and we're going to fix that up by adding another notch. And so we're going to move this around the first quarter and see what tones we can find. I like it around here. So we're going to keep that there for the time being. And, you know, you can feel free to put a whole bunch of other different notches in here. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to have the one. And we're going to move on to the amp envelope section. What an amp envelope is basically a volume shaper. So we can decide on shaping our kick drum using this, and it's very, very common in most kick drums that you'll have a sloped tail towards the end. So we're going to move that down. What is also a very common shape is to have a V here, which is cutting out some of the lower frequencies in the beginning impact of our kick drum. And I think that is to make way for the sub and also to give more definition to our transient. So let's have a listen now. With just a couple of clicks, we've created this kind of shape. Cool. I think this is sounding pretty good. We also want to have a look at this one here because this is going to decide the loudness of our transient, basically. So we can have that all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom, and it will affect the click. So let's have a listen to that one as well. I kind of like the sound of it about halfway, and I don't mind the sound of this at all, given that we haven't done any post-processing to it. Of course, you can go a lot deeper into this. You can change the curves here on your pitch. And you can also add more notches in the beginning and really fine tune some of the harmonics that your kick is sweeping through. Cool. We are going to continue this lesson through a new video, and we're going to look at adding hi-hats and using the click sections to add a bigger transient to our kick drum. But this has covered the basic fundamentals of what a kick drum is. It's a sine wave. We're deciding on notches of where our pitch is going to sweep through the sine wave, and we're also shaping it using an amp envelope in different ways.